Today's show is brought to you by two of our favorite organizations, the Carnegie Library of Pittsburgh and the Allegheny County Library Association. September marks 10 years of their joint program, Love Your Library. It's really a countywide celebration where your donation during the month of September will be partially matched and helps keep essential services going. So everything from books and materials to facility improvements and programs for all. If you use the library system, show your love and donate now at loveyourlibrary.org. Today on CityCast Pittsburgh, Giant Eagle is lowering prices on hundreds of products. They did not tell us to say that, but it's coming just as another grocery chain is setting up shop. Mayor Gainey has dropped a new budget, and gosh, his critics are getting pretty creative with their complaints. Plus, there is a shocking amount of local holiday news, and it's the final day of our membership campaign. I am with producer Sophia Lowe talking about some of the biggest stories of the week. It's Friday, October 3rd. I'm Megan Harris, and here's what Pittsburgh's talking about. Sophia, hello.
Good morning, Megan.
Good morning and greetings to all our listeners. Today is the final day of our fall membership campaign. Thank you all so much if you have joined us this week. If you were here with us from the beginning, we're just so grateful for everyone who has taken the time to become a CityCast Pittsburgh neighbor.
Absolutely. A huge focus for us this week. Well, all the time, but this week especially, is helping people feel connected to Pittsburgh. No matter how you got here, you know, a lot of listeners were born here, but a lot of people moved here, whether it was for school, a new job, your partner got a job. No matter how you got here, if you've been here for a while, you've probably made an intentional choice to stay here and really get to know your city, finding friends and safe spaces, finding your favorite small businesses, and just showing up for your neighbors in so many different ways.
Yeah, I mean, here at CityCast Pittsburgh, we really try to help folks like you live here with purpose. And, you know, a huge tool for that, of course, is our newsletter, our Hey Pittsburgh newsletter that goes out every weekday, as well as the podcast that you're listening to now.
Which are all free resources, but it's not free for us to make this. So there are 4 people, me, Megan, Mallory, Francesca, and we are behind making and writing everything you hear and you read. We really love doing this work and we really want to keep doing it. But like, to be honest, this whole thing is an experiment. I am truly not trying to be defeatist, but, you know, it could end sometime very soon. We just don't know.
Yeah, I mean, that's just the reality of the industry, unfortunately. Like, the news business is tenuous at best. And this one is like such a cool challenge to be able to talk about things that matter, to have like a little bit of a stake, right? Like, I mean, part of any of the fussing you hear is because we want Pittsburgh to be better. And more often than not, we know the people listening to us do too.
Yes. And membership, when you sign up to be a neighbor, your support is keeping us here now and into the future.
So if you have gotten anything from us, we hope you'll tap into membership, join the neighborhood, and help us keep asking hard questions like, can a city go broke, relevant to today? And why would you put ketchup in a smoothie? Also a very important topic around here.
And we will always be pushing for things to be better here in Pittsburgh than they were yesterday. And again, today is our last day, final day of our fall membership campaign. And we are hoping y'all will join us, come hang out with us, and help us reach our goals. And one more time, you are going to get this exclusive Neighbors Make Pittsburgh tote bag. It is the final day to get this. You might not see this around for future campaigns. We have different merch. So if a tote bag is what you love, now is the time to get it. It is $10 a month for you and absolutely invaluable to us. You can find all the details at membership.citycast.fm.
So we talked about a lot of news this week. On Monday, we went through that whole proposal to add a bike lane and reduce like the lane sizes in the Strip District, like to take like a chunk of it from 2 lanes down to 1 lane.
Right.
But it was this whole fight because like some of the small businesses there had gone to a court and been like, no, you need to stop this. And it worked. A judge granted their injunction. So when we talked about it on Monday, it was like up in the air. What's going to happen? And now I think it's even more up in the air. I still don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah. Does the city have a plan to address any of this yet? I don't know.
I did text a few people. I have not yet heard back. So stay tuned on that. On Tuesday this week, we talked about so many fun fall festivals. We have an enormous list of these on our website. We encourage you to check it out.
Absolutely. I'm still not over the best witch cackle contest that's part of Witch Fest. I mean, what other festival would it be? It's on October 18th for all of those cacklers out there. But again, like you said, Megan, definitely head to our website to see the full list.
Yeah, it's truly huge. Wednesday, we did our guide to October. So that's a regular show that we do to like kind of preview the month ahead and talk about all of the cool ways that you can experience Pittsburgh. We try to mix it up. So like volunteer opportunities, fundraisers, big parties, tons of costume stuff this month because, of course, Halloween, no festivals there. So still listen to both episodes to really fill up your calendar. And but there are a couple ways to hang out with us, the team, too.
Yes.
So check those out.
Definitely. And then yesterday on Thursday, we talked to Barb Warwick. She is the city council rep for District 5. She's working on this proposal to rezone the area of the riverfront in Hazelwood, where there is a big recycling plant that apparently is overrun by rats.
Well, at least some neighbors have fussed about that in the past. Warwick talked about like how they are under new ownership. Lots of good changes have happened, but the railroads are also there too. And they want to change what's allowed to be there. So like not move any of that, but change what else could come in the future. But also that is another fight. Pittsburgh's always full of fights.
The rats don't run Pittsburgh. The railroads do. Go listen to that episode.
You're not wrong.
Yeah, to learn more about that.
So other news you need to know this week. Sophia, buckle up. It is budget season. I feel like it's been budget season for a while now because apparently, at least as we're recording this, not a single level of our government has been able to lock in a way to pay the bills on time in a way that like everyone can agree on. I'm kind of floored by it. Like the city, the state, the federal government. Come on, y'all.
Well, let's start with the city. They are not late, to be fair.
No, not late, but like people are mad about it, which is kind of why we wanted to talk about it. Outgoing Mayor Ed Gainey dropped his draft of a budget this week. So right on time, people were hot out of the gate to complain about it. So his pitch is that it maintains core services, no layoffs, no tax increases, which can be read as a positive.
Yeah, I mean, I think on surface level, you see no tax increase and you're like, okay, good. Everything is so expensive now. But the city is also in a financial crunch. So I was not surprised to see a bunch of people still coming down on Gainey saying that this is not good enough.
Yeah, I mean, critics have been saying for months that the 2025 budget, the one we are currently living in, was also bad. And they seem to be even more upset about the 2026 iteration. Yeah, this is going to be a wild month, I think.
Yeah, so one big factor is that COVID money is totally gone now. So that was something we were relying on for the past years. And, you know, property owners also keep appealing to the courts saying, hey, my land is not worth as much. My buildings are not worth as much. So you need to lower my tax bill. And, unfortunately for the budget, that is working.
Yeah, I mean, and a lot of that is like the downtown skyscrapers, like these huge buildings that were paying a lot in taxes. They are now paying a lot less.
Because no one's in them anymore.
Yeah, I mean, so many of us are working from home. Like you and I are recording this from our, you're in a living room. I'm in a closet. You know, we're doing our best. I mean, my quick read on the budget, and I will do more in the coming days, but, you know, it's early yet. The big thing for me is that Pittsburgh is not accounting for the jock tax. So this is the thing where we've been taxing athletes and entertainers who don't live here for like the individual days that they've been working in Pittsburgh. So like we always use the example of Taylor Swift, right? Like here for 2 days and has to pay taxes on that, which feels weird.
Right. But this also includes athletes that are living, you know, just over the city borders.
Correct. Yeah. Like they play for a Pittsburgh team, but it gets weird. Anyway, a court recently ruled that was unconstitutional. And in this budget, it says we're not going to collect that money anymore. Cool. But my reading of that court document where they say it's unconstitutional is that some of these athletes, entertainers that have paid it, they're going to have up to 3 years to ask for their money back. No, we've been collecting this money for, I think, 20 years, but Now, at least some amount of money is going to have to go back, and that's not being budgeted for example.
Ooh, that does not sound good.
Another thing is like, so Gainey says no layoffs. That sounds great. But they're also not going to fill any unfilled positions. So like one example that's being floated around is like we talked about, paring down a little bit of the public safety budget and making some of those positions civilian ones. Well, they didn't fill them all. So a lot of those positions are going to be like the civilian jobs that he promised public safety wasn't going to take on anymore, which people were excited about. And now that's gone too. And like also just separately, like if it's your office, if you've ever been through some kind of layoff or they absorb a position, someone has to do that work. Like that's just not a fun feeling when you then have to take on more. Or if like the person whose job didn't get filled was like the one human in the office who made all the other jobs around them work correctly.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Exactly. And then overall, we're also just going to need to spend more money because of rising costs. So that's not really the city's fault. All of us are going through that.
Totally. So that's Gainey's take. He says, look, this is a balanced budget. Mischief, at least the draft of the mischief has been managed. There was a nice press conference and all that, but the scathing rebuttals, Sophia, can I read some of them to you?
Please.
I made a short list and I'm still not going to be able to read them all. Unprofessional, sloppy, not an honest document, glaring omissions, no lessons were learned, wild under budgeting, not remotely near reality, needs significant help, inadequate, unrealistic. Nothing about this adds up for me. Like putting bubble gum on a leak in a dam.
Oh, someone is really proud of that one.
Oh my God. Like there's so many. Crafted to spite the next mayor. Leaves me with more questions than answers, indication of mismanagement. Almost like it's daring council to do something. All of these are direct quotes. Makes it impossible for the next administration to do its job. And maybe like the most like summarizing, like the bottom line is that this proposal does not tell the truth about the city's basic operating expenses.
Like those are scathing and also really big accusations.
And it's from a lot of different people.
Well, I think what stands out to me is the critics saying that, this is going to be the next mayor's problem. Because reminder, Gainey is done in January. Pittsburgh votes for the next mayor next month. Democrats pretty much always win, but there is a Republican. So the Democratic candidate is the county controller, Corey O'Connor. He's running against former cop, Tony Moreno, who was a Democrat until he started running for mayor a few cycles ago. He switched to the Republican Party.
Yeah, I mean, and we've talked to both of them before. We did that earlier this year. We'll drop both of those in the show notes. But that election is coming up November 4th. So take care of your house. Make sure you're ready to vote because the judge election is extremely important. Like, even though mayor is sometimes already taken care of, judges really freaking matter in Pennsylvania this year.
Totally. And if you're not registered to vote or you just want to check your registration, you can do that online on Allegheny County's website. Pennsylvania residents need to be registered to vote 15 days before an election, like you said, Megan, November 4th. So that deadline is coming up in a few weeks. So do it now. Just make sure.
Yeah. So back to the budget, Gainey does keep saying, like, we're good. City's in a strong position. I mean, he's even told us here at CityCast, like, multiple times, like, look at our bond rating. He always celebrates the bond rating, which is excellent. He's correct. But that only matters if we want to borrow, like, huge sums of money for something, which he says we're also not planning to do. So it's, like, sort of a meaningless metric in that way. And everyone else is calling this thing, like, fiction. Farcical. And I feel like the subtext of this, at least like some of the vibes are that like this feeling that like he's put a document on paper that does not add up later is at least one of the reasons that maybe some people did not vote for Gainey back when he was up for re-election in the primary earlier this year.
Right. That makes sense because, like we mentioned before, there have been a lot of criticisms of just, how he's been budgeting.
Yeah, I mean, one of the chief ones is overtime. Again, we'll talk about this more as the whole situation evolves. Like, council has stepped in. They're like, okay, we're going to like review this separately. We're going to see if there's any other revenue options. The city controller, who we've talked about, is like having a whole time. But I will leave you with this because one thing I am howling about is that Gainey immediately got asked by reporters like whether he's giving himself, like the mayor's office, an annual cost of living raise because that was not reflected in the budget. And they always do that. Like, they always give themselves raises. And so they took this to the mayor's office and the deputy mayor was like, Oh, sorry, that was a typo. Yes. Yes, he is recommending himself for a raise. And I'm just like, in the midst of all of this, like, I feel like you can't make that typo. You can't say we're broke, but by the way, chief executive's going to get a raise and like make that an extra story.
Gotta get your money before you get out, I guess. I don't know. Has O'Connor said anything about this?
Not that I've seen. I mean, I've
Gotcha.
got to think that he's been asked about it, right? So anyway, there will be another version of this budget. Usually that's submitted in November, but I don't know if council getting involved changes any of that. But it is required to be done by the end of December.
Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, state and federal budgets are just very, very late. We'll see where the city budget lands. In terms of, our county, KDKA reports that Allegheny County isn't hurting as badly as other counties, even though the state budget is late. But it's like very bad. It's not good for schools and social service organizations that rely on this funding. The budget was due June 30th. So over 3 months late now and, still counting.
Yeah, Spotlight PA does amazing work, like talking about all the implications of this. Please dig into their work if you want to know more like specifics about all this. And then there's the federal government,
which is shut down.
It's closed for business. I have personal friends who were like headed to DC this week to like go to the Smithsonian's and all that. Like they canceled their trip. It's just like there's so many implications of this. But like I also think of like our friends in DC that like rely on tourism dollars and stuff like that. Like there's so much at stake.
Well, that's DC, kind of bringing it back home to Pennsylvania. The federal government is one of the biggest employers in the state. So about 100,000 people. And in terms of how it impacts us here in our metro area in Pittsburgh, we've got about 19,000 federal workers. So some of them are getting furloughed because of the shutdown, so like temporary let go, or they are working without pay. These workers will get back pay, but obviously it sucks not knowing when your next paycheck is going to be. So
I think the biggest example we keep seeing is TSA, like air traffic controllers. Yes. Like you can't not have them. So now they're just going to work with no money.
TSA is there, air traffic controllers are there because, you cannot fly planes without them directing them, making sure everything's safe. Mm-hmm. And also things like Social Security, Medicare, SNAP, they're still running for now, but service might be a little slower. There are no new small business loans. And then spaces like national parks, they're still open, so not like a complete shutdown like the Smithsonian. But, some buildings on those parks are going to be closed. Their websites won't be updated as often.
And not just parks, but because we don't have any of those in Pennsylvania, but also like, anything that might have like a national space attached to it, like a forest or a monument, things like that.
Those historical markers, that kind of thing. Yeah. And Axios Pittsburgh has a deeper rundown on this if you want to check it out.
Yeah, so this might be over by the time you hear it. That does not seem likely as we're recording this, looking at some of these news stories. So we don't know how long this could go. The last time, I think it was 35 days. For what it's worth, I was listening to NPR, I think it was yesterday, and they were talking about like how air traffic controllers really were the ones that made that one end.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Enough of them called off so many days in a row that they had to ground all of these planes all over the country. And it shut down our economy enough that goods couldn't flow and billionaires suddenly started to feel it. And that's what moved the needle. That's what brought our government back to life.
That makes a lot of sense. Okay, once you connect the dots, okay.
Yep, it was just like a fascinating reminder of who controls the purse strings in the US of A.
Yeah, and most Democrats voted against the budget, but our Senator John Fetterman did not. He's been pretty clear in the past that he won't vote in a way that could lead to a government shutdown.
Yeah, and I just think we should also step back here because I keep seeing stuff about how like the Democrats are holding up the government, and certainly that's what's on all of our government websites right now. Like HUD.gov is a wild exercise in propaganda, but like our government is run by Republicans right now. The president, the Senate, the House, all Republican majority. And some of these proposals are gutting really essential services here in the country. And this is like the only leverage that Democrats have to draw a hard line against what people are calling, and rightly so, authoritarianism. So I don't know what their plan is. We've talked a lot about how Democrats don't seem to have their act together. I don't know how this shakes out. But anyway, we'll keep watching for how it affects PA.
Absolutely. Moving on to something fun, trivia time.
Trivia time.
Since we are in October, we thought it'd be fun to talk a little bit about candy since we make so much of it in Pennsylvania. Hershey Park, what is their slogan? I forget.
Oh, I didn't know they had one. I've never been over there. I need to go.
Is it something about like being tasty? I don't know. I went a few times as a kid. I had a lot of fun there, but
being tasty? Okay, we're going to look that up later.
I might be completely off the mark. Again, I was a child. But I know the answer to this question. It is about the Hershey Kiss, which was first sold in 1907. But the paper tag coming out of the little foil wrapper wasn't added until 1921. So the question is, what does Hershey call this little paper label?
I have absolutely no idea. I have no idea. But we'll let you know after the break.
Hey there, it's Francesca DeBecco, your Hey Pittsburgh newsletter editor. Here at CityCast Pittsburgh, we are all about helping our listeners and readers be more engaged with what's happening around town because we believe that better neighbors make better cities. Every day, we're bringing you the local stories, conversations, and tips that make you feel more connected to the burg and the people and places that make it feel like home. By becoming a CityCast Pittsburgh neighbor, you are investing in that mission. Your support allows us to keep covering the local issues that matter most and highlight the stories that make this city shine. Plus, CityCast Pittsburgh neighbors get great benefits like ad-free podcast episodes, a weekly email of curated local events created by me, and invites to members-only meetups. Sign up today for $10 a month or $100 a year at membership.citycast.fm. What do you say? Won't you be our neighbor?
We are back. The answer to what that little piece of paper on the Hershey Kiss is called, it's a plume.
I feel like that's like a little bit anticlimactic, like plume.
I don't know. I guess it's more exciting than like the little flag on our chocolate.
Yeah, flag, ribbon, topper. I don't know.
By the way, producer Elizabeth Kama behind the scenes looked up Hershey's slogan. It's the sweetest place on earth. So I was right. It does have to do with something tasty.
You were in the ballpark, I guess. Sure.
I picked an adjective that describes chocolate. If you want to hear more about Pennsylvania candies, go listen to our trivia podcast episode about it. We'll have a link in the show notes, but don't judge me too hard. I did really bad on the trivia part. Really good on the candy eating part, though.
Well, yeah, it's because there was a lot of candy that not necessarily everybody in the room wanted. And Sophia took one for the team. You took like 15
really
for the
did.
team. I mean, gosh, y'all have heard us pitching CityCast Pittsburgh and our neighbors program, our membership program all week. And we're just going to say it again. Today is our last day of the campaign. And we really do think it's awesome to have y'all kind of in the neighborhood, as it were. And we want to be able to offer you something like just in addition to supporting the Daily Show, which is important. But we also want to reward that effort too.
Like, neighbors get a little bit of time back because you have ad-free listening. You don't have to listen to 3 minutes of ads to get the fun content. And neighbors also get access to some really cool events via our ticket giveaways.
For example, gosh, one of our brand new neighbors, Steve D, just joined the neighborhood, just signed up for our CityCast Pittsburgh Neighbors program and already won free tickets to something. He's going to an event. So we're so excited.
Yes, an event with lots of cheese and wine. Hope you have so much fun, Steve. Mm-hmm. And we also have been getting notes from a ton of other people sharing why they signed up, all the reasons they want to be a neighbor.
Yeah, Allie S. listens to us every day. Thank you, Allie. Allie says, love hearing about the events around the city, the food episodes on Thursdays, and local news. I'm passionate about Pittsburgh's parks and making Pittsburgh a better place to live. Allie, we are glad you're with us, and we're glad you're here in Pittsburgh.
And we also just got a note from a member who joined just as we are recording. Ooh. Welcome, Dawn V. Your note literally made me to take a beat. So Dawn joined after hearing last week's news roundup where we talked about trans healthcare in Pittsburgh.
Oh gosh, just last Friday.
Yes, and everything that's going down at UPMC. Go back and listen if you haven't caught up on this yet. But Dawn talked about how we brought up Erin in the Morning, this newsletter about trans news, trans life. And Dawn was really heartened by the way we spoke about trans rights as being like all of our rights, like we need this healthcare for everybody. And Dawn also talked about moving across the country this year to Pittsburgh from a very rural and conservative place. Dawn said, I came here to be safe and find community, and I've fallen in love with this city, and I believe in paying for the journalism I find most useful. Dawn, thank you so much. I'm really glad you're enjoying your time here, and I hope you're here for a long, long time.
Same. Dawn, I'm really glad you're here. I'm glad you found us, and I'm glad anything we said spoke to your heart. We really do mean it. Allie, you as well. We're glad that y'all value this work. We really appreciate all of your support. Anyone who has become a neighbor or is still thinking about it, we're really honored by it. So consider becoming one yourself. $10 a month or $100 a year. You can really find all the details at membership.citycast.fm.
So back to the news. We're talking about grocery stores. Giant Eagle.
Yeah. So if you're an Eagle shopper, you know the prices are quite high. I had a friend in from Chicago the other day and lives in one of those neighborhoods that's like beside a really expensive neighborhood. You know what I mean?
Okay. Yeah.
And so like there's like a Whole Foods on the corner and all this stuff. And like while she was in the Giant Eagle, she was just visiting. She's like price checking against the Whole Foods in the $1 million neighborhood in Chicago. And she's like, the stuff in Pittsburgh costs more. Like the stuff that they say is on sale costs more than the Whole Foods in the like multi-million dollar neighborhood in Chicago. What is this place?
I also think that the Whole Foods here can be cheaper than the Giant Eagle if you have like Prime and shop the sales. I'm not 100% sure if that's still the case. I don't go into Whole Foods anymore because I just can't. Everything else is still too expensive. But that being said, I don't shop at Giant Eagle. I am mostly at Costco and Aldi. But the other day, I genuinely considered it because I saw a TikTok about cheese and how it's $1 a bag there right now for shredded cheese. It may have been an ad. I don't remember.
Sophia is highly motivated by cheese today.
Yeah, it's like a little mouse.
I mean, yes, I actually got a mailer about this last week, and I'm not going to lie, I was so confused by it. So I guess they're lowering prices on a bunch of stuff. Technically, the initiative started yesterday. So the thing I saw was like, kind of forward promoting it. And it's going to be running through the end of the year. So they have at the moment like 300 grocery staples as part of this. So like eggs, ground beef, potatoes, canned goods. WPXI reports that it's part of an effort to make sure that people have more affordable options because of inflation, which sounds so nice. But you gotta wonder if some of this is because of where their headquarters are and the now 2 grocery stores that are going to be right next door.
Yes, because we are getting a Wegmans soon. I am super excited for when it's opening. It's going to be in Cranberry, but there is also another giant chain coming to town, Meijer. They are also setting up in Cranberry according to the Pittsburgh Business Times, so I guess I will be heading north for groceries.
Kudos to you and Francesca for finding this in the Biz Times. I had heard that Meijer was like looking around. I did not realize where it was going to go. I am up in that neighborhood all the time because I have family over there. Like, I'm so confused about this as a selection. So like that stretch of 228 that like runs through Cranberry, that means in like, I don't know, a 2 or 3 square mile area, you are now going to have an Aldi, multiple Giant Eagles, a Costco, a Fresh Time, a Meijer, a Wegmans. Like not far is a Trader Joe's and a Whole Foods that are nearly right beside each other. What is happening?
Okay, well, first, Trader Joe's, not a real grocery store. That's for snacks. But I guess for all the rest, that's why Giant Eagle's lowering prices. Now they're scared.
I mean, there's also a Target up there, but it's one of those that like doesn't have the most amazing grocery selection too. But like there is food in there. Why is Cranberry getting all of the good food?
I don't know. Well, okay, so things like Meijer and Wegmans are pretty big, so I imagine it's going to be pretty hard to find a space within city limits for that. But I am curious about Cranberry because, like, you could also go south. I don't know. There's other areas besides Cranberry. You're right about that.
I mean, I just made a face because I think you're right, actually, about the space. But I mean, I think the other answer that's probably kind of obvious, I just don't like it, is money. Cranberry is growing. Cranberry has money. Like, in a lot of the little communities next to it, like Treesdale, for example, or like Sewickley Heights on the other side, like there's a lot of wealth kind of congregated in this like broad swath of like Upper Allegheny, Lower Butler County.
Well, they will have so many grocery options to choose from. So this Meijer is going to be part of this new plan called Henderson Crossing. I didn't see a ton of details about what that's going to be in the Biz Times.
I have not seen a single thing about that, like at least not like in signage when I drive by, but I guess I'm really just going by on the main roads. Like there's a Lowe's on that corner, and there's actually, it's where the Cafe Conmigo is that we've talked about, Sophia, on here, like the new one that's up there.
Oh, okay.
But there's a high school right there,
Yes.
and I guess they're going to be buying some of that land too.
Yeah, the Meijer is going to be near North Catholic High School. I'm not seeing a timeline for opening yet. I'm assuming still like, 2 years. Like, it's going to be a big project.
But across the street and up on a hill is the Giant Eagle headquarters. Like, now they're just literally going to be looking down onto Wegmans and Meijer from their office building. Like, that feels like a choice.
Yeah, maybe they'll even be able to run into Wegmans for lunch. I like Wegmans hot food a lot. Imagine coming in to Giant Eagle with like your Meijer branded stuff. I don't know. Is that like automatic ding or something? Who knows?
I mean, if I were like the employee of the opposite store, I'd be like filming that stuff, being like, look, the Giant Eagle employee shops here.
Have you ever been to a Meijer before?
I think once on vacation, and I have zero memory of it.
Okay, I have also only been to a Meijer once. It was in Michigan. I was overwhelmed because it was just so big, because it is a full-service grocery store, but you could also get clothes there, household items, like makeup, a ton of other stuff.
It's like a big box store in like the traditional sense.
Right. So some Reddit comments from Pittsburghers who seem to have more familiarity with this. One person commented, "My favorite description of Meijer will always be, it's like Walmart, but without the Walmart people."
Aw, that feels rude. But wait, Cranberry's got a Walmart too. Oh my gosh, I'm overwhelmed.
But like, I think it just gives context of what they sell. Someone else said, at a Meijer, you can buy your chicken pot pie, a new outfit, and a hamster all at the same place. I hope the hamster's an exaggeration.
But what if it's not?
I don't know. I'm not adopting a pet from a grocery store.
I mean, with the Amazon of it all, I feel like every store is trying to become a little bit of an everything, you know? I don't know. It's confusing. Maybe the hamsters will have a nice life in Meijer.
Maybe they're eating the fresh produce. Who knows?
Not exactly a grocery store, but, you know, we have made fun of, we have laughed, we have teased about the rivalry between Sheetz and Wawa. Speaking of competition, it looks like Wawa is getting closer. Maybe it's going to intensify because they're coming across the state. So there's going to be new stores in Center County, Mifflin County, and Clinton County, all in 2026. And they've been popping up in other Sheetz-dominated areas, so like West Virginia and Ohio. But, I mean, Sheetz is growing too. KDK reported that the 800th store just opened in North Carolina and that they have a goal to get to 1,000 by 2028. They've also released all that ridiculous merch. Have you seen this? It's like all kind of like 60s, 70s, 80s styled. Like one of them I distinctly remember has like a Metallica logo kind of feel. Another one is sort
weird.
Is sort of like Def Leppard, but like it's a lot of orange and yellow and beige kind of like color stylings. It's like over the top.
Was Sheetz around in the 70s? Like,
I actually don't know. Whoever came up with their merch, like truly like 12 out of 10. You really knocked it out of the park.
Okay, I'm trying to find this merch now, but I am distracted by Sheetz overalls. Why? Why do I need Sheetz branded overalls?
Why not, is what I'm saying. Like that's the point. Like their merch is getting like a little unhinged in what I think is the best way.
Okay, so you land on Team Sheetz still. I am from New Jersey, so I guess I need to root for Wawa then.
I mean, producer Elizabeth is here in the chat rooting for Sheetz because, and I quote, "I will never be 13 and sad at a Wawa, but I have been 13 and sad at a Sheetz." All right, we've got a couple shout outs from our CityCast Pittsburgh neighbors. Today comes from a new neighbor, Brian A.
Welcome, Brian. So Brian also signed up after hearing our news roundup last week.
Dang, Sophia, we did a good job. We got 2 new members of that.
Let's do it again this week. But Brian specifically wrote in because we mentioned indoor pools, and I talked about how I'd be a little skeptical about going to a pool at like a public safety campus / training center for police, EMS, and firefighters. Go back and listen if you want the details for that, because this is Brian's moment. This is Brian's suggestion.
But that is a real proposal. That is a thing that's floating.
That is
anyway,
real.
Go listen.
But Brian recommends checking out the pool at the Kingsley Association. I did not know they had a pool, so thank you so much for this, Brian. The Kingsley Association is a community center in Larimer. Brian also said that the prices are pretty good there. So I went to peek on their website. Obviously, you know, they've got a bunch of plans, whether you're a family or individual, etc. But if you're just signing up for like one adult, it's $50 for a monthly membership. So this includes pool access, obviously, but also you can get access to their fitness center and gym, like if you want to play like basketball or something, and also workout classes. Great deal.
Yeah, thank you, Brian. If y'all want to share your favorite local businesses or nonprofit organization on the podcast, become a CityCast Pittsburgh neighbor and you can send us your shout out. We do these every week, not just during our membership campaigns, but all the time. We read them right here. There is no limit. So once you are a neighbor, you can send as many of these as you want. You can join today and also get a tote bag. That's membership.citycast.fm.
And welcome to more of our new neighbors, Diva M, Matthew S, Elizabeth S, Michael L, Nora M, Casey G, and Leah L. Come sit with us, come hang out, sign up at membership.citycast.fm.
Okay, to round us out for the week, we're going to do a win, a loss, and a thing to know here in Pittsburgh. Let's start with the loss. Bad news first.
Okay, so bad news is that childhood vaccination exemptions are on the rise here, both in the state and in Allegheny County. So numbers for Allegheny County, students submitted almost 1,800 vaccine exemptions in 2024 versus about 1,300 in 2020. So these are for medical, religious, and philosophical reasons, like any vaccine exemption.
Okay, so that means like submitting, like, I don't want to take the vaccine. And
yes, like I'm not going to be vaccinated.
Got it. Yeah. Okay. So over a 4-year period, 1,300 before, 1,800 now. I mean, that doesn't sound on its face like a huge number, considering like we're talking about all kids in Allegheny County.
Yeah, so the difference between those two numbers isn't huge. And, those numbers are still a fraction of the total number of students, so many kids in Allegheny County.
Yeah.
But this also has to do with herd immunity. So we need to be at 95% to limit diseases spreading. And right now we're at 94.1%. So we are below herd immunity. And if we have more exemptions, that number could also continue going down. So it's really important to be at herd immunity just to stop the spread of diseases in general, but also protect people who can't get vaccines. Like Next Gen Newsroom talked to a mom whose child is on immunosuppressants and she can't get the measles shot. So if there's a measles outbreak, this kid wouldn't be able to go to school. The family needs to take extra precautions. And, like I just said, we all want our kids to be healthy. It's no fun having measles.
And I understand the fear about this too, with our federal government, telling people that pregnant people can't take Tylenol because it'll cause autism, which is false and also terrible to say about the autistic community. And deriding things like fluoride and vaccines. I just can't believe we're in this moment. So yes, if you were listening to this, you probably already are, but go get your jabs. COVID and flu vaccines are out. I have mine scheduled. I would have had it by now, but I got sick with something else and had to reschedule it.
I got them last week. It's never fun, but it was super easy.
Yeah, exactly. And also, just to throw it out there too, I recently had my dentist checkup, and you can get fluoride gel. They just do a little swipe. It actually tastes good. You can eat right after it. And when you brush your teeth later, it comes right off. But it helps protect your teeth for weeks and months, just an added little thing. No, it is. I think you do have to pay out of pocket because insurance is weird for most people. But anyway, it's an added little thing that you can check into at your dentist office.
Yeah, protect your body.
For sure.
On to some good news. Megan, you want to take us there?
Good news. Pitt has launched a horror studies center. So we talked earlier this week in our guide to October about horror films and ways you can tap into kind of the horror community here in Pittsburgh.
So many film festivals this month. It's the season.
I know. It's amazing. Well, literally that day, some stories dropped about this, which I think is so fun. So this is the first program of its kind. It is a collegiate center. So it's I assume going to be doing things like academic research or investigation of horror and horror tropes.
Yeah, maybe more classes. I'm sure there are already horror classes.
Probably.
They have so many, but I wonder if this means they can pioneer more stuff.
I just think it's so fun to apply the element of academic rigor to something like horror and horror films and creators. Says they're going to be drawing on papers and works from, of course, George Romero, who was kind of the godfather, pioneered the whole zombie genre.
Yeah.
He didn't use that word, but that's what we call it today.
Yeah, and the center is also going to be bringing in groups that are already existing at Pitt. So one is the horror genre as social force scholar community. So that's a group at the Honors College. I love this so much. And they're also going to be planning on connecting with horror groups in other countries. So I bet there's going to be all sorts of really interesting research.
Man, honors kids are always so extra. That's great.
Yeah, and the center is also part of the Arts and Science School. It's going to be led by Professor Adam Lowenstein. I hope I'm saying your name right. But he is really well regarded for his knowledge of horror. He won a Guggenheim Fellowship in 2023, and he's also on the board of the George A. Romero Foundation, of course.
Of course. While we're on the topic, I also just want to shout out the Pittsburgh Haunters Club because we recorded with them this week. You'll hear that soon, but they're an organization that just started up. They're really into haunted houses and like all of the artistry and effort that go into those spaces. And they shared just some of their favorite spots and also how not to act like a jag when you go visit one of them. So just something to look forward to.
Absolutely. And I will scoot us over a few holidays to Christmas because this is the week I learned that Spirit Christmas is a thing. Are Spirit Halloweens even open yet?
I think so. I've seen the banners, but I never go into them. Like, I just feel like it's all like, some of it's sort of cheap. So it's not as much fun as it used to be to go into these things.
That's true. I usually don't buy, but I like doing a lap and seeing like what costumes are being mass produced right now, like what's going to jump out at me.
You're not wrong. And I have a small child who like does not have a clue what costumes or what Halloween is yet. So I actually do need to take him by one of these spaces just to get like a sense of some inspiration.
That's really cute. Let me know how he does. But if you maybe have a child who's into the Christmas of it all, maybe you can take them to Spirit Christmas. As a whole, they opened in 2024, but they're coming into the Pittsburgh area for the first time this year. One is going to be in Village Square Mall in Bethel Park. The other one's going to be on McKnight as part of North Hills Village. So
can you imagine like applying the Spirit model to Christmas? Like, I feel like Pittsburghers already go like way too hard for Christmas as it is. And like, wow, this is going to be something.
I want to know what like the version of the giant skeleton is going to be for Christmas now. Like giant reindeer?
Can't it just be Jack Skellington in the Santa Claus suit?
That's true. But I feel like Spirit Christmas is going to want to make its own thing, right? I'll stay tuned.
I don't know. Mix the two of them. I think that's like double duty. It'll be great. That is all for today here on CityCast Pittsburgh. Y'all, if you are listening to this, we made it. If you have signed up to be a neighbor, thank you so much. If you want to and you just don't have it in the budget right now, I just want to say we get it. It is hard out here right now. If you can, please recommend us to someone who you think would love the show. We are so grateful to all of you who give a piece of your one precious life to us for a few minutes a day. And we are just as grateful to share the city with you, truly. We love it here. We want you to love it too. So last time, if you do have it in you to support the news you hear every day, please come into the fold. You can show us some love at membership.citycast.fm. Our music this week is by Benji, All the Kimonos, Anders Fab, and Mooncrest, with additional music from epidemicsound.com. Mallory Falk is our executive producer. Sophia Lowe and Elizabeth Kama made the show. Francesca DeBecco writes our Hey Pittsburgh newsletter, and I am your host, Megan Harris. We will be back on Monday with more from around the city. Have a great weekend, y'all, and thanks. I still don't know if my voice is recovered from the jalapeno chips.